Hi, everyone. Today is Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. Welcome. I'm Jeffrey Morgan, and this is a talk I host twice a week to discuss my experiences on the path of soul transcendence. This offering is brought to you by the Movement of Spiritual Inner Awareness with the encouragement and support of my friend John Morton, who holds the mystical traveler consciousness, which is the spiritual consciousness that does the work that we're doing here today. If you're new to the call, the format is simple. We're going to start by calling ourselves forward into the light, which is calling our awareness forward into the light of God that's already present. And then we're going to chant three Anai hues. Hue is an ancient name for God, and Anai invokes the quality of empathy and compassion. Then I'm going to play a video clip from my teacher, John Roger. And then I'm going to do a reading uh, from George Herbert called Love 3. And then we can talk about whatever you would like. So if you'd like to close your eyelids and take in a deep breath. Beloved Father, Mother God, once again we call ourselves forward into your love and light and sound. And we ask to be filled, surrounded, and protected by the light of the Holy Spirit and the light of the Christ, so that only that which is for the highest good will take place here. We open ourselves to receive of the blessing that is present with us at this time. We receive of the guidance and the healing and the clearing of spirit. We ask that any karma or negativity that can be lifted be taken into the highest realms of light and dispersed into the nothingness from which it came. We ask for the presence and guidance of the mystical traveler and Christ consciousness to infuse all that we're doing here. We ask for greater awareness of the loving that we already are, that we feel that loving pulsating within us, that that energy express into every level, layer, and aspect of our consciousness. That we send this love to all the causes and the reasons for the causes of any disease, disharmony, imbalance. We see that filled with light and let that go so gracefully into the arms of spirit. We ask that this loving go out to all of those who may be experiencing challenges or suffering, who may have lost a loved one. We send this loving to those who may be fulfilling a duty that they don't agree with or that they do agree with. We send this love out to all beings everywhere that they may be filled with joy and peace. For we are all in this together, walking each other home to the heart of God. We are so grateful to come before you as your beloveds, and grateful once again for all the blessings that you bestow. For we know that the blessings already are, and we know that above all your will is done. And so we give our thanks at this time. And so it is.
When you're going back through, you want to write down what you see and what you observe, because it's a wonderful journey back to what you've created. It's a wonderful journey. And let me say this as sort of like a soothing comment. On the way to God, all the garbage is scenery. And you have to look at a lot of your own garbage. And believe me, in here, things will come up for you that you'll just want to bolt for that door. When you bolt for that door, it's going to bolt right behind you. And it's going to follow you down the stairs in your car, and wherever you go to deal with it, you're going to distract yourself by something. And when you sit down, it's still going to be in there, ready for you to come back and deal. So I'd say, if it shows up here, deal. How do you deal? You just keep looking at it. You just observe it. You don't start having dialogue with it. You don't ask it, who are you? What are you? Why are you here? What are you doing? You just observe it. If it's real, it will take on its own attributes and communicate to you. But it will tell you things that you don't know. Don't believe it, but check it out. Because there's a lot of spiritual things can be told to you that you don't know. And because you don't know it, you think it's true because they told you something you don't know. You ever been told a lie and you didn't know it? Of course you have. Have you ever heard people lie about you and you wonder why they said that and people believed it? See, just because it's said, don't believe it. You have to find a way, a method inside of you where you're ready to use that as a validation against whatever appears. Chanting the tone against these objects. If they're imaginative of a lower nature, they'll start to disappear. And your thing here is, I'm going into whatever is called the heart of God. I don't even know what the hell that is, but that's where I'm going. And that's my intention, and I'm sending a telegraph to God by way of, if you're there, you know what I'm talking about, and that's what I want to do.
Okay, this is Love 3 by George Herbert. He lived from about 1593 to 1633, so not yesterday, a little bit further back than that. So, Love 3. Love bade me welcome, yet my soul drew back, guilty of dust and sin. But quick-eyed love, observing me grow slack, for my first entrance in, drew nearer to me, sweetly questioning if I lacked anything. A guest, I answered, worthy to be here. Love said, you shall be he. I, the unkind, ungrateful. Ah, my dear, I cannot look on thee. Love took my hand and smiling did reply, who made the eyes but I? Truth, Lord, but I have marred them. Let my shame go where it doth deserve. And know you not, says Love, who bore the blame? My dear, then I will serve. You must sit down, says Love, and taste of my meat. So I did sit and eat. So there you go. And just as a reminder, if there's any new folks on the call, uh, and you'd like to share, either new to MSA, new to the teaching of Soul Transcendence, or new to even this phone call, uh, go ahead and raise your hand. I will give you preferential treatment. Love to share with you. We love to support new people on this call. That's actually the purpose. So if you feel like raising your hand and you're hesitating, please just raise your hand. I'd love to talk to you. And we have Jolene raising her hand, so we'll start there.
Thanks, Jeffrey. I haven't shared before, even though I'm not new to MSIA. So I'm going to give you some details because this is a very specific thing that happened. So please bear with me. I have notes. And I just want to say I'm really nervous. I don't typically share these kind of details with 200 people, so thank you. Basically, after 58 years of digestive issues, for 14 months, I didn't have any digestive issues. I worked with a nutritionist and really turned all of that around, or at least I thought I did. I let go of dairy, I let go of gluten, and I finally gained weight, which I was really just so happy about. I never in a million years thought I'd be happy to gain weight, but I was. And then I went to the Royal Road retreat, and I was eating very, very different. I eat really clean at home, and I was eating that food, and yet my digestion was really stable at the same time while I was there. As soon as I got back on December 19th, I started getting more and more ill. This has been going on since then, just exacerbating and getting worse. So I went back to the way I was eating before I left for the trip: whole food,
Mhm.
low fat, protein, little protein, and I kept getting worse. Um, Basically, I'm eliminating. Sorry about this, guys, but I've got to talk about this. I'm eliminating water. No matter what I put into my body, water comes out of me. I've lost 12 pounds in 2 weeks. I've spent most of my time in the bathroom over the last month plus. Um, Finally, on Sunday, I was lightheaded. I knew how dehydrated I was, even though I drink all what I'm supposed to drink to be hydrated. And I went to the ER. In going to the ER, what they found was a whole lot of nothing. However, they said that my colon is impacted. Um, and so there's stools stuck in my colon. And the same thing happened when I was having digestive issues back in 2023 that I resolved with a dietary change. So I thought I would just do the same thing. Um, so tomorrow I'm going to see a specialist, which I'm really happy about. Things have been moving very gracefully. And I'm going to see him at 9:30 tomorrow because they want me to have a colonoscopy as soon as possible. Um, so one of the things that came up in Royal Road that was significant, and it was very odd for me, was we were starting a process or doing a process, and all of a sudden, all of my intestines, it's like they started vibrating and shaking, and I became so cold I could barely function. They wrapped a blanket around me, and I cried through it, and I ended up just being okay. But I just thought that, wow, this is a really strange thing to happen, especially in my solar plexus. Um, and so, anyway, I thought I was detoxing from the retreat, and now I have no idea what's happening. Every expert has a different opinion on what to eat. I don't know what to eat now, and I really love food, and I want food to be my friend here. And so, anyway, I'm open to any insights, anything you have at all um, that could be
Yeah,
helpful on any level.
it sounds like you're going to see medical professionals for this. That seems like the right decision if you have an impacted bowel.
I am, and I'm obviously don't, I know you're not a doctor, but I'm looking for energetic, anything that might be causing this energetically or spiritually that I can clear. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And they're doing a whole slew of tests. I have so many tests out there right now, which is great. And they're coming back negative, which is also great.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And do you find that you have you've had sensitivities since you were young?
Yes. Yep.
Not just I'm not talking, just talking about food sensitivities. I'm like sensitive to energy, sensitive to being around people, sensitive to
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what you got going is you have some mechanisms in the consciousness that cause contraction to occur in the
Yeah.
presence of significant release.
Oh,
And part of that was triggered when you were releasing heavily during the Royal Road. So it triggered a mechanism that was in place as a survival or as a way of coping with times of energetic upheaval or conflict in the home or loud noises or things like that.
all of that. Yep. That's
You
accurate.
understand what I'm saying? So
Totally.
what happens is the consciousness will it's like the image I hit, it's like a pulling in to become almost like a boulder. You kind of it's not there's or and sometimes what'll happen is it's not just a question of so it's not just a question of coping with energetic upheaval. There was also a degree of like kind of manipulation, gaslighting, or duress.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't look like you had a particularly uh, or let me put it this way, you had to pay a hefty price in childhood to work with the traveler more in adulthood because you put a lot of karmas in the way of that. And since you agreed to work spiritually in that way, it looks like you you worked overtime when you were younger, dealing with some of, and you still to some extent deal with that upheaval where like you would go to live somewhere and something would get weird, or people would strike out against you, or even
Yeah.
the environment would strike out against you. So part of it is understanding that your consciousness, your body, your basic self developed responses to the nature of your karma in the best way that it knows how. And so right now, your body interpreted what was a very beautiful spiritual release at the Royal Road as an energetic upheaval. Like if you were around your parents arguing, or like that kind of energy, it's like upheaval. And then it contracted on that. And then the contracting on that caused a constriction in the digestive system in
Mm.
response to that consciousness.
Wow.
It's a
Okay.
con- it's almost like a bracing for impact.
Well, that's how my childhood was. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it is an unconscious um
bracing for impact.
internal.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
You kind of you like it's like yeah. That's the only way I could describe it: contraction or bracing for impact. It's like when you're on a roller coaster, you have to flex a little bit to kind of not have your head bang against something or get thrown around. So you flex.
Yeah, it's like a gripping or holding.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I'm glad you found a word that works better.
Which one? Gripping or holding or both?
Kind of both. It
Yeah.
feels like a gripping. It feels
Yeah.
like a gripping, like
Yeah.
a white knuckling.
Yes.
So let's just look at the origin here. One thing is to understand that you're paying what you perceive to be a hefty price, but that's only because you're on an accelerated track. Like you needed to process quite a bit of physical discomfort karma,
Mm,
because that's what's on your like that's what's on your list this lifetime.
yeah, I
So,
would.
a little bit of conflict around you, and then physical discomfort karma. And it
Okay.
wouldn't be like you necessarily, sometimes you're in conflict, but sometimes it's just weird people blowing up around you and you don't understand why. And
That's
yeah,
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 it's been kind of bizarre.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on
Especially,
behalf of the whole universe, I'd like to apologize for any inconvenience caused by your karma. And I'm just putting this, I'm just, I'm just saying to you more, if you were wondering if this is some chaotic torture exercise, it's not. It really is just you've got to pay the price to get the pearl of great price that you agreed to get this lifetime. And in the end, you go, well, if this is the price I have to pay for that ultimate cosmic liberation that is soul, then it's worth it. It's worth every inch of this ridiculousness. And I think the tricky part is someone like you who will have gone through this so much, it's very easy to lose your sense of humor in the process. And it can start to feel very severe and very heavy. But if somehow you could inject dry wittiness or irony into your vocabulary and the way you describe your life and laugh a little, then that could help as well.
thank you. And
So
I'm a very gentle, sensitive person, and in the past I've been consistently around harshness.
yeah,
That's
I
what you're
know.
talking about, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I thought I was pretty explicit.
Yeah, well, no, you were. I just want to, it's that self-doubt thing that's coming up. But yeah,
No.
yeah.
I
And
got you laughing a little, I think.
I actually, here's the thing. I mean, this thing is going on with my physical body, but my spirit has been so light
No,
and
I know. That's what I'm trying to say. You
I
had
felt great.
a very good clearing at the Royal Road, is what I see. It was good, but it bumped up against programming you have in your body. that says contract, contract. We can't let this is too much. This is too much because you released a lot of energy at once.
Yes, I did. So
And
how?
normally, so what you need to do
Yeah.
is to train your body to let go. You need to cultivate a different source of resiliency than contraction. And
Yeah.
it's interesting. You, this is kind of a like philosophical difference. And for people like me who studied martial arts, there's kind of like hard forms and soft forms. And you could say, well, a sequoia tree is pretty darn strong, and that's you could say tensile strength or like your fortitude. You can't knock that thing down.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you could get the same resiliency to a windstorm. That same windstorm that the sequoia would survive, a single bamboo would survive as well, but using a different approach. The sequoia would be immovable, and the bamboo would be incredibly flexible to the point where it would bend all the way to where the leaves were touching the ground, and then it would just come right back up again.
Mm.
So there's a way in which you can start to cultivate. I think John Roger would say, he would say this phrase, be as steady as the North Star and as flexible as the wind, I think. Hope I didn't make that up.
No, I don't
Be as
think you did.
steady as the North Star and flexible as the wind.
Yeah.
And I think if you start to hold those images, I think it's great that you're saying I'm light, but then it's like, how do you translate the lightness that you just had the experience of spiritually into your physical body? And how do you start to integrate that lightness into every cell or into every breath? Are you breathing like a person who lives light? Are you walking like a person who lives light? Not hypersensitive light. I'm not talking about faint. I'm talking about like bamboo. Like you can just move. It's like Tai Chi.
Okay.
So if it's like cultivating that multidimensionally instead of it's like for me, I would spend because I was picking up a lot of stuff when I was a kid, like my sensitivity. And I had some of that crazy stuff going on around me too sometimes.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of sensitivity too. And I would pick up stuff. And so my approach was to become like Teflon, right? I was like, my energy is going to be really strong. I'm going to learn how to clear really fast. Do, 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 do. Nothing's going to stick. I'll go really fast. And I kept doing that for years and years and years until it's like I heard that phrase from Jesus, like resist not evil. And it's just kept reverberating. And I went, wait a minute, am I just resisting something that I don't need to? And there became like almost this image of a prayer wheel inside of me
Hmm.
that was like spinning. God bless you. I love you. Peace be still. I forgive you. I love you. Like it was just all of that, just over and over, just spinning like
Yeah.
a fire, like a
Yeah.
fire. And then that fire extended like a tornado around me and up into spirit. And it was I stopped trying to brace for impact or protect myself or be Teflon or be any of that stuff. And I started just dancing with my reality.
Mm.
Right now, you have your body programmed to go into like a devastation if negativity gets in, or a
Yes.
devastation if toxicity gets in. And I'm using the word devastation very intentionally because it's severe, it's like intense, it's like devastation, it's like the end of the world. That's that's kind of what it feels like. So I would say if you start to shift your consciousness toward more of a suppleness and a yielding quality, like right up until now, you've been doing yang expression, like, oh, don't
Yeah.
come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if you really got that resist not evil, and you got that real like be like the water, you just keep be as steady as the North Star. That's the inner steadiness. Like you found that when you went to the royal world and you experienced that. It's that inner steadiness that's transcendent of whatever the conditions that you were holding, which in that case, you let go of some specific limiting beliefs and identity levels, and you were left with something much lighter. And now you have a reference point for this North Star in your life, but you have a body that's completely trained around a different person that isn't there anymore. And so it just becomes, how do I integrate this? How do I integrate this even down to the smallest toenail? How do I integrate this in? You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And it's reminding me of the divine feminine, actually, more of the divine feminine type of energy.
Yeah. And there's this, it's like there's all these folk tales, like the whole competition between the sun and the wind, as to who could get the person to remove their jacket. Or there's all these stories about how sometimes it's not the use of force or the defense level that's really the source of the freedom that we seek. And I remember read this wonderful book by Byron Katie called A Thousand Names for Joy that I really enjoyed. It's very, very beautiful. It helps when your husband's a really great writer too. And there was this phrase, defense is the first act of war. I never It always shocked me a bit. I was like, wait, defense is the first act of war. Well, that asshole pushed me first. It's like ingrained in us from like when we were 5 years old.
Yeah,
Well, that person took the first shot. They're wrong. But there's a way in which your life has been somewhat of an experience of being at war with the world that seems to be trying to hurt you or bring you down. But I'm wondering if this is a chapter and maybe you're using this intestinal issue as that chapter of, I'm just not going to resist this anymore. I'm going to become like a pure fire of spirit, and things just pass through me into spirit, and I don't have to fight anymore.
I love that. And I don't have to defend myself anymore because it was really all about protection,
Yeah,
yeah, bullying and that kind of thing as well. So um, it was protection. And I don't feel I need that anymore. Consciously.
right. But your body still thinks you do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the way to do it is be real loving with your body, because everything that you got going was set up for a reason.
Mhm.
So understanding that it's not some arbitrary crappy thing that's there. It's like this was there to protect you. This was there out of caring in a way.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
so if you go in with the body and just be very sweet with her and just say, hey, we're going to try something else. And maybe grab some images that have that different pattern of the more yielding strength, the strength that comes not from resisting, but from yielding.
Yes.
As you get some, you put them up on your wall and you just have that focus of like, to touch me is to pass directly into spirit. Like as soon as something enters my field, just as quickly it's already heading upward. It's already heading into spirit.
I love that.
And
That's a
you
beautiful
and you
image.
keep visualizing that loving, that fire just passing around your consciousness, or even like a water or liquid, if that's easier for you.
Well, not at the moment, just given the circumstances, but when this is done, yes. I love the water. I love the water. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can also declare to yourself, it's like, you know, since there's a blockage there, you
Right.
can say, great, this is the way I'm going to clear the blockage that I have with my life, called I resist, I resist, I resist. I brace for impact. I clench. I hold.
Mhm.
that you could just say, this is it. This is me releasing it for the last time.
Yes.
But a lot of pain issues that you've had in your body and discomforts are traceable to this subconscious tendency to brace for impact and resist in the presence of more violent energy fields. So it's going to be, it's like if you can crack this one, you may notice that your body's a more comfortable place for you to be, number one. And number two, as you start to really work this process, you may actually find more joy, more of a dance in your life. And when people go crazy, you kind of go, oh, cool. I was wondering when you were going to go crazy. I think you're about 5 minutes too late. You start to just say, I don't, I don't have to fight with the patterns in my life that are perfectly set up for my liberation. Why would I fight? They're set up that way. I've been learning that one in various aspects of my life. And really, almost everybody has a part of their life that isn't going to be too easy. And some people, like yourself, have multiple aspects of their life where they really need to clear some old karmas and they really need to eat some of them. So it's kind of like, what is it, the Mark Twain there's like this funny Mark Twain saying about how to eat frogs. You ever hear this one?
No, no.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of how I feel about karma, but Mark Twain says, if it's your job to eat a frog, do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat two frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first.
I can appreciate that. And speaking of eating, by the way, your reading was perfect for what's going on with me. But speaking of eating, do you have any um, suggestions about that? It's like,
Yeah, you're doing so right now, you're operating on a very mental level or conceptual level
right,
in response to perceived symptoms in the body, which are somewhat perpetuated by belief patterns and this contraction pattern that I told you about.
yeah,
It might be something to experiment with. Look, you may have intolerances and things you can test for with the
yeah,
doctor.
yeah, sure,
So that's useful. But what I found is when there's a shift in consciousness, when I have a profound shift in consciousness, it may be that I need to look differently at how I eat. And it may be like there was a period of time where I just couldn't eat meat at all. I was basically vegan. There was a period of time where um, there was a period of time where only fish worked. It's like you kind of follow what works based on the energetic state of the consciousness. And what's really interesting for me is picking the food becomes more like harmonizing. Like
hmm,
you hold the apple in your hand and you go like, is this apple at the frequency of my body right now? Like when I hold this apple, do I feel health in my body?
yes, okay.
You kind of get that.
I
So
do. I'm
like
doing a little bit of
you
muscle.
may need to you may need to throw away the rule book and kind of feel it out
Okay,
and just see what you sense is at an easy frequency for your body to process at this moment, rather than the idea, the habituated pattern, or however you used to eat before that time.
okay,
So I think that we read books, we get wrapped up in different things, but at the end of the day, there's an opportunity to cooperate with the frequency and the energy that's present. And for you, you're discovering a greater lightness of being.
I am.
And you previously had, before going to that retreat, it looks like you had a kind of a severity and a weight in the ego level, and now you're much lighter in your countenance, and there's less um, defensiveness in there. So I think you have an opportunity to carry that forward. And what will often happen with a shift in consciousness is what I've heard the term rechemicalization. What I've found is even down to the cellular level, when the consciousness shifts, the body starts to transform to match that frequency.
Yes, I totally get that. Yeah.
And so you have to kind of throw out whatever you thought you knew and go through a really loving, sweet process of feeling out what is the most merciful thing for me to put in my body so that my body has ample space, energy, and time. Time is a factor in digestion and all of that to do the work that it needs to do to update the consciousness. You're in a process of updating right now
That was my
because you shifted because you shifted your consciousness.
Yeah, that was my sense of it intuitively. And with all of these physical symptoms that have been happening, of course, there's the big question mark, but that's why I'm having it checked out medically as well.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you got, I mean, some of it is you got a little bit of stubbornness patterned into your subconscious. Has anybody ever suggested you were a little stubborn at times?
When I was younger.
Oh, got it. So you're just way past that. You're way past that
Oh, I
stubbornness.
didn't. No, I didn't say that.
But not but what I'm saying is that's it's like a basic self level or subconscious level stubbornness. So you got the energy coming and the basic self's kind of going, no, you know. So
Yeah.
so be gentle and patient with her
Okay.
and give her the reason, explain what's different now, update her, let her know how things need to work now and how they are different and why they're different and how they achieve a better result.
Okay. Great.
Understand?
Yes, I do. Thank you so
Okay.
much. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thanks.
God bless you.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, board. I invited you to unmute. I hope it worked. Yep, it worked.
Okay. Um, I've had this dream that was so profound it stays with me like every day and in just different forms or whatever consciousness I might be in, even if it's another dream, I remember this dream. So I'll explain the dream and I'd love some clarity on it. So we're on a bus in Tibet in the mountains, and it's very steep. And when I say we, it's a whole bus of MSIA people. And we get to this little town way up on the mountain, and the bus pulls over so that we can experience this town and the culture and everything. And the leader of the group, which I don't know who it was, but they took the group down the left side of this pathway road. There were two pathways to go down, and one was left, one was right. So everybody went down the left side except me. I went down the right side, and I was the only one who did that. And then all of a sudden I started seeing these stores. These, as I said, it's like San Francisco. These were really steep hills. And each store was a different store. One was a ceramic store, one was an art store, one was a bookstore, one was a clothes store. But what's interesting about all of them, there were six in total. Um, you could enter from the outside and then go back out and enter the store, the next store from outside. But if you were on the inside of the store, there was another door where you could just walk from one store to another without having to go outside. So, as I said, there were about six of these, and again, a very steep hill. So I was walking through these inner doors until I got to a place where I almost got thrown over. And it was this really beautiful pond about, I don't know, waist high. And it was filled with these beautiful, beautiful koi. And I've had a koi pond up in my Woodstock house for quite a while when the raccoons don't eat them, but they were they're very special to me. So I'm in this koi pond and all these koi are brushing up against my legs. And I'm in this really happy, blissful state. And all of a sudden, I just shot up um, through, I don't know what, but into this blissful state that is beyond anything I've ever known. It was a bliss beyond, as I said, anything I've ever experienced in being awake or in my dreams. And there was this feeling of this beautiful kind of blue turquoise um, unfolding with these kind of semi clouds, and there was kind of a buzzing sound. And it was a place where I never wanted to leave. And then at some point, I came back down into this Tibetan village and I walked up the road and the bus was gone. The MSA bus was gone. And I went, uh-oh, I'm stuck here. And then I went, well, if I'm stuck here, I better make the best of it and just experience what there is to experience here and enjoy it. And then I ended up walking down this road again, just open to whatever um, my consciousness would be open to. But I never ended up finding the bus again, or they had been long gone. So I just went, okay, if I'm going to stay in this little Tibetan village, just as I said, just experience it and love it and be there. But I guess what I've never known is when I shot up to that ultimate bliss, um, I've always wondered where I was and how the koi pond helped me to go up to this ultimate bliss state. So um, I've never shared this dream with anybody. So I am
So
open
you've
to,
decided to share it with 233 people.
I guess. So I'm really open to whatever you might want to share with me about it.
Well, a couple things. If you were dreaming about your own consciousness, if every character in in the dream was your consciousness, what would you think the dream was about?
Um, about learning to be in a more profound state of being and growing in spirit, I guess, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it could be. Could also be about being okay with not doing everyone else's path the way they do it, and instead allowing your own inner guide to take you to the experience that you're going to have. There's that too.
Where was I when I went into this ultimate state of bliss? The term that came up for me is the great ocean of love and mercy. And I don't
Well,
know if that's just something I learned in the movement or what.
Where was I? Well, you have memory of the dream right now. Where do you perceive? You say ocean of love and mercy, but you're already in the ocean of love and mercy right now. So why not claim that? I hear
Okay.
you. You want me to give you answers, but the dream was about you finding your own answers and taking your own path. That's what the dream was about, was it not?
Um, Probably. I guess I just wanted validation
The
that
sound, yeah, I know you wanted validation.
just where I was what I thought it was. It was like the ultimate place
If
you
you
could
have,
possibly be.
yeah, but it's never the ultimate place you could possibly be. It's called etc., right? Eternally traveling consciousness. We keep going, we keep expanding, we keep moving spiritually in our inner awareness. I hear you, right? You said buzzing like bees. It could be the etheric level, could be the high etheric. There's some places, see, that's the thing. I mean, the outer kingdom of heaven, there are places that are so exquisite and so beautiful, but we always just keep going. I think the most important thing to consider is that it doesn't matter. Like we talk about, I think there's a meditation called Soul Realm Mock-Up in MSIA where people are encouraged, even if they didn't have an experience of the soul realm, just describe it. Describe it as if you did. Because ultimately, we're talking about who we already are and what we're already doing and where we source from anyway. So it's like if you said, right now, are you in the ocean of love and mercy? Yeah, there's a part of you that absolutely is already the ocean of love and mercy, but you have that part of you expressing into this field so that you can have the experience of making individual choices and having individual experiences in an individual way so that you can experience co-creatorship with God. I don't know that you need my validation for all of this. And that's what I'm saying. Your dream to me sounded more about, hey, sometimes you don't always have to follow. Like it's staying on the bus is a validated path. Staying on the bus is, you got a big metal thing around you, you're going through the mountains, like, you're in the right place, you're being told what to do, and you're doing what. So you're asking me to validate you, you're asking me to put you on the bus, but your dream is all about going your own way and discovering that you also have access, that in the least of places, and obviously water has a deep spiritual meaning. The fish is also associated with the Christ, right?
Mm.
You find that you have your own access to that spiritual consciousness. And even if you're chilling in the high etheric, that's a pretty awesome spot to chill. But the key is for me, there's always more. Even the ocean of love and mercy sources from somewhere that is of a higher frequency than that. They have the named and unnameable levels. They have some 27 levels above that. And then it just keeps going. And it's funny, we talk about the inner kingdom of heaven inside, which is contained within the body. You go within the body, you're in the inner kingdom of heaven in your consciousness. You just pull that attention inward. And even that's worlds without end. There are people who have had complete and utter bliss and had the most extraordinary experiences, and they never made it past their own nerve endings.
Mm.
You can experience bliss anywhere. I don't think it's, I think it's amazing that you had a wonderful dream like that. And I also think your whole life is that wonderful. And I also think that there's always something more. And maybe it was just giving you a taste, putting a carrot out there. Sometimes it's difficult. I mean, certain people do their SCs, they don't feel a thing for years. They just keep chanting, keep chanting. They don't have any experience whatsoever. And then they have an experience like that, and they just have this confirmation like, well, I don't know where I was, but I know whatever this thing is that I'm doing, where I'm chanting names of God into my third eye and kind of going out of my body, it's doing something. It's clearly doing something if I had a dream like that. It's a useful dream.
How come
And
the
if
bus
you,
left me?
well, did the bus leave you, or did you just not need the bus anymore?
Good question. I mean, when I walked back up the hill, all I know is it was gone. And as I said, I just thought, well, it's up to me to make the best of being here in the Tibetan village and to experience whatever um, would take me to a higher place.
I think that you could see it's a tricky one, right? Have you've been doing this whole thing a long time, or
86.
yeah, me too. That's when I was initiated in '86. So it's been a long time for me too. The tricky part is a lot of the metaphors and a lot of the crutches and we're given this notion of a journey to dangle that carrot so that we get to that soul realm, so that we chant those names of God and we continue moving and we move up to the soul realm. And then we find there's really no moving. It was just bringing our awareness to what's already present, to the spirit within us, but then anchoring that and being able to accept and maintain that frequency at a soul level. And then as you go beyond that, it's like maybe you spend a lot of years cleaning up and you have to go see, it feels like you're climbing up a big mountain hill again. And then finally you're back there. And now you discover there's something beyond and you keep going.
But I think I remember, there is no journey, you're already there.
Yeah, that's a beautiful quote.
The,
I think it's the
the
greatest
accomplishment
secret.
point.
Yeah, I'd have to find it. I love that quote from JR though, so it's worth finding. I think it's hold on. The greatest secret is that the journey is already over before it has begun. You are already there. That one for whom you seek is already present. Why is this a secret? Because so few claim it. Do you with your next breath?
You're asking me, um, it
I know
already,
I was reading you a quote, but it's a
oh,
good
okay.
question. No, so that's why I was saying if you want to say that you had an experience of the soul realm, go ahead and say it. You don't need my permission to claim that you are soul and you're divine. You don't need my permission to claim that you experience soul consciousness. We all get ourselves all bent out of shape about being able to hear the sound current. But where do you think all creation emanated from? Before let there be light was those spoken words, let there be light. Sound preceded light, and all creation emanated from that light. So, what do you think all of existence is resounding as we speak? It's the sound current. It's everywhere, all the time, all at once. We just are in a state where we are trained to tune it out because we got to experience this life in a human format. the way that it's set up so that we can have individual experience, but it's everywhere. I think that I think that it's okay for you to claim it, is my point.
Sounds
I
good
don't
to
know that I don't know that you need anyone's permission, and we're not the type of, I mean, John Roger once talked, I remember in a seminar he talked about these born again Christians are like they talk about this amazing dream they had with Jesus Christ 15 years ago, and they're still talking about it. When the way that we work in soul transcendence and the movement of spiritual inner awareness is that it's a daily process of revelation. I mean, do you get intuitively that you're missing something important from that dream?
no, no.
No. I think that you were just being given a gift of a taste of something that's already present, but that you're not always aware of.
That sounds really accurate to me. Um, Something I just say that's possible, and that's probably the ultimate truth of what is and where I'm at, and just accept that and see what's next.
I'm always on to what's next. There's always more. And it's like, how could God love you this much? And there's always more. Infinite supply.
Well, it's weird because no matter what's going on with me, there's a part of me that just says, you're okay and you're going home, and just be there, be present, and deal with what comes up and just
But
keep
can you
going.
but can you open? Can you be open to already walking in the kingdom of God even as you walk here on this planet?
Sometimes
Yeah,
I think
because
more what I'm
you frame it as a there and a here, and that I've
right.
got to die to get there. When the teaching is you can die daily, you can die before, you can die while living, you can experience the fullness of soul consciousness and beyond, even as you walk here on this planet.
Sounds good to me. Well, um, I want to, oh shoot, I wanted other people to be able to share, but this was really wonderful. And, um, I validate myself really, and my experience. I think now when I think about it, it's just something I wanted to share with others.
I
Uh,
think people loved hearing about it.
well,
Thank you for sharing that.
thank you so much. Love and light. God bless.
God bless. Well, all right, everyone. Uh, Wishing everyone a beautiful evening, and God bless you. I love you. Peace be still. The blessings already are.